Little trouble there. Let's pick it up at 17. Ready? 5, 6, and... Not quite my tempo. Here we go. 5, 6, and... Downbeat on 18. Okay, here we go. 5, 6, and... Bar 17, the and of 4. Got it? 5, 6, 7. Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go. 5, 6, 7. You're rushing. Here we go. Ready? Okay. 5, 6, and. Dragging just a hair. Wait for my cue. 5, 6, 7. Rushing. 5, 6, and. Dragging. 5, 6, and. Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
The tempo?
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
I don't know.
Start counting.
5, 6, 7.
In 4, damn it! Look at me!
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Now, was I rushing or was I dragging?
I don't know.
Count again.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rushing or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference. If you deliberately sabotage my band, I will fuck you like a pig. Now, are you a rusher or are you a dragger? Or are you gonna be on my fucking time?
I'm gonna be on your time.
What does that say?
Quarter note equals 215.
Count me at 215.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jesus fucking Christ! I didn't know they allowed retards into Schaefer. Am I to understand that you cannot read tempo? Can you even fucking read music? What is that?
8th note?
Yes, what is that?
Dotted 16th note.
Sight read measure 101.
Ba 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 ba.
What are you, in a fucking a cappella group? Play the goddamn kit! Stop! Now answer my question. Were you rushing or were you dragging? Answer!
Rushing.
Oh, my dear God. Are you one of those single-tier people? Do I look like a double fucking rainbow to you? You must be upset. Are you upset?
No.
No, so you just don't give a shit about any of this?
I do give a shit about this.
Are you upset? Yes or fucking no? Yes, you are upset.
Yeah.
Say it.
I'm upset.
Say it so the whole band can hear you.
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
You are a worthless, friendless, faggot-lipped little piece of shit whose mommy left daddy when she figured out he wasn't Eugene O'Neill, and who is now weeping and slobbering all over my drum set like a fucking 9-year-old girl. So for the final father-fucking time, say it louder!
I'm upset.
Carl, start practicing harder, Neiman.
Today we're here to talk about the 2014 film Whiplash, a film I like to describe as two solely focused sociopaths who deserve each other. And speaking of two sociopaths, joining me as always on our cinematic adventure are a couple of fucking limp dick, sour note, flatter than their girlfriends, flexible tempo dipshits. First up is a man who is he adjusting his seat, thinking that's been the problem the whole fucking time? The seat height? Mr. Christopher Morris, how are you doing, sir?
Excellent. Thank you, Michael.
And,
yeah, I was adjusting my seat, looking for a pot of gold.
Absolutely, adjusting your microphone. And joining Chris and myself is a man that if you give a calculator to, he's going to try to turn on the TV with it. A man who's been cruising in his Jeep all day long, listening to Pearl Jam, Mr. David Corsetto, who got his second vaccine today and might be asleep by, half hour into this podcast. How are you doing, Mr. Corsetto? And are you drinking this evening? Probably not.
No, I'm not drinking. I'm drinking a lot of liquids, though.
That's a good idea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
For the folks that obviously you're only listening through Audible, he's in his bed. He's like tucked into his little pillow, and half the time I'm not even sure if his eyes are open.
So listen, this does reminisce of my time with COVID, so it is excruciating. Excruciating, but I won't have to wear a mask in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
This is true. Michael, I'm surprised you didn't go with Mini-Me.
I know.
Oh,
Am I gonna do short jokes every week?
Yeah. That would have been good.
Yes.
That's
Why
true.
not?
I could just go with that. Christopher, you look like you had a fine martini going this evening.
I did. I actually wished I had some gin. I wanted to go with a nice jazz drink, like a sidecar, but I just have a vodka martini, straight up. No vermouth.
I have a vodka soda that came from a
Excellent.
can.
I had one today. Actually, really good.
I think it's one of these canoes or something. I don't know. I get it at the store.
You should be sipping hot toddies. Yeah.
Let's get into this fucking movie. This is a great movie.
So yes, from director Damien Chazelle, who's also directed La La Land, that didn't win Best Picture, and First Man, that I feel like, Chris, you said it's a good movie, but kind of got ignored or forgotten.
I really like it, I think, more than most people.
Yeah. Starring Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons with Melissa Benoist. She's in it for, I think, 6 minutes total, and even less, Paul Reiser. It was the Audience Award and Grand Jury Prize winner at Sundance. It won Academy Award for Best Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Supporting Actor for J.K. Simmons. It was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture. And any guess on its Rotten Tomatoes score if you don't know it already?
I'm gonna guess. 89.
It might lose. I'm going to say in the 90s, even though it might lose points. It might lose woke points for a lot of hate speech.
There is a lot of it
from Fletcher. So I'll say 90, 93.
94 on Rotten Tomatoes. And I wrote, that's proving that 6% of film critics are fucking stupid. But what I noticed in some of these, I looked at some of like the negatives, and it was like, this is just a sports movie pretending to be a music. And then there were some people saying that's not how jazz really is. It's like, whatever. That's not even.
Listen, I think that this movie, all the movies that we've done, I've said it to you guys many times. These are probably two of my favorite characters, and they're the most unlikable characters because they're just on the surface assholes, but they're just so driven. So in their own minds, they're not assholes. They're just driven people. But I love those characters. It made the movie ridiculous.
I thought I was rooting for someone, then I wasn't rooting for him, then I was rooting for him. Then all of a sudden I'm like, am I rooting for both of them?
Yeah.
Right. Well, the first time I saw it, I was blown away because of how it went. You weren't sure what you were getting. You weren't sure how the ending was going to go. We'll obviously get into that. I thought Chazelle just did an amazing job with the sound, with the camera shots. It was just done so well, shot so well, and it's immediately I was like, I'm a fan of this guy. That was his first feature film, and I just thought it was great. And then went on to push you both.
Yes. You last year, for my yearly movie month, there's another podcast on the website covering this movie, and it was my first time seeing it because Chris thrusted upon me this movie. I don't know if thrusted is a word, but
let's say that sounds a little weird.
Yeah,
too.
It was. He definitely pushed it. He peer pressured me into watching this, and then again
didn't
this
push
year.
it.
Now he had backup though this time because I was here to second his emotion and get Dave to watch it for the first time.
I watched it for the first time probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then I watched it probably a good dozen times.
Yeah, as I expected, and I calculated, I bet Dave's probably seen this, and I love that he does this with the movies. How he gets into it. He's probably seen it more than both of us combined.
Probably.
I mean, I've probably seen it five or
well, listen,
six
I watched
times.
the movie. I watched the movie front to back at least a dozen times, but I watched the end scene at least 10 more on its own. Because
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
we'll talk about the end later, but that was probably
We
my
will.
favorite ending of any movie.
It was
One of them.
It was amazing. It was amazing because you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know. It was just amazingly shot. It was.
Yeah. So this was for my understanding is he couldn't get funding to do this movie, so he went and shot the short, made a short version of it with J.K. Simmons and a different actor playing Andrew, and it was really just the it was pretty much the rushing, dragging scene, like that beginning scene with him trying out. It compressed a lot of that, and it was 17 minutes. I watched it today too, and then that he brought that won a few awards, and that's what secured him the funding to make the feature length.
It wasn't a very long movie.
No.
So I mean,
it's a movie that I feel like could be a play.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, you could say that. Well, how long was it?
Hour 40 minutes.
Yeah, 42? I think that's what it was. Yeah, 100.
A crisp hour and 42 because it does go by fast, and next thing you know, he's already kicked out. And
like in the short, the different actor, I thought he was fine, but
the guy was pretty good.
But what I wrote was I made a note that the big difference is like he seemed like this innocent guy, where Miles Teller has this. He kind of looks like he could go psychotic and he can go off.
Mm-hmm.
That was the difference. Like
becomes so unlikable. I thought he was, like Dave said, such an interesting character. But what a job by Miles Teller.
Yeah.
He just. I mean, J.K. Simmons deservedly won the Oscar, but Miles Teller could have been nominated for an Oscar.
Absolutely.
So I have my favorite. We'll have our favorite scenes. Not shocking, probably what all our favorite 15-minute scene is, or 25 minutes, however long that is.
Yeah.
Favorite characters, if there are any. Like I told you, favorite characters, none. But that's just more of a likable thing.
Nicole.
So. Yeah, she was nice.
Yeah.
My favorite character was the only nice guy in the movie, Connolly.
He was a sweet guy right from the beginning.
Yeah.
He was nice to Andrew. Andrew's such a dick to him. But again, I'm sorry, we'll get into that with the pot of gold. So it opens up with that great shot of the room. First you just hear the drums building up and the title Whiplash, and then it zooms into the room that Andrew's in, and you could just tell it's going to be well directed.
Yep.
By the opening scene, opening shots, and then you see Fletcher comes in, asks if he knows who he is. He's kind of even you could see a little bit of his wise ass self already.
It's like, is he feeling this kid? Like, did he hear him, and that's why he came to? Like, does he leave his jacket a lot to go back and listen to people? Or
yes, exactly. And he says he said, "Are you like a wind up monkey?"
Yeah.
When he says, your response is to keep playing when I say, "Why did you stop playing?" So
well, that's your introduction to Fletcher.
Yep.
Yes.
But
you still, you don't know he's such a raging asshole.
You have no idea, but you get a taste of it. There's a little bit of that, there's that comfort level kind of dips when he walks into the room.
Yep. And you get then he leaves, shows where they are, Schaefer, which is not a real school, but and you get the jazz score, and then he's at the movies with his dad, which
Yes.
isn't surprising. He has no friends, as he later claims. You find out why.
Now,
Kind of.
his dad, like, so he gets, he meets, he goes and sees Nicole first, right? And then or is that?
Well, yes, he doesn't
goes
say
to
anything to
Nicole.
her. He goes,
Yeah.
right. They show her briefly. You could tell his dad's a pushover. He gets bumped in the
Yes,
head.
and he apologizes. Right.
So, you know, Paul Reiser is good in it, really good in that small role.
Yep.
So you see, you know, how close he is with his dad. And then next scene is the next day at practice when Connolly's the lead in that. So, Mikey, you're the music school guy.
Oh boy.
Well, maybe you didn't go to music.
No, I didn't go
Maybe
to.
you
I
didn't.
have a cousin. I have a cousin and his wife were Berkeley graduates. So I
Okay,
should ask
wow.
them about that.
So that definitely makes you an expert, though.
Absolutely, I know a guy who knows who went to Berkeley.
We're all
I walk
experts.
by Berkeley when I'm at work, and you see a lot of guys with the cellos on their back. So that did look familiar to me.
So that's not the core, you know, the studio band. He's in the regular
Right.
band.
Which
He's
may I
the
add?
alternate.
Which may I add though, real quick, the setting of the band that he was in the beginning, like that first like ensemble, that room, dark, dreary, like just kind of feels like
Great point.
second
'Cause
fiddles.
Yeah, great point. When you see how the studio band is lit,
Yeah,
everything's bright. And so Connolly, right away you meet. He's a nice kid. The other guy the kid was bashing Andrew. Connolly's like, don't pay attention to him. He's a dick. Then they're practicing, and then I believe that's when
You see a silhouette.
You see a silhouette, and then he leaves.
Yep.
Did he comes right back?
no, he leaves, but they picked up that he was there.
Right.
And they're curious, if he was gonna stay.
So obviously, there's like
Okay.
a legend of him for
Yeah.
everyone in the school.
Right. I'm sorry. So then they show him playing, looking at he's got a picture. They show him at home, picture of Buddy Rich. He's listening to a CD. He's looking at his drum kit, and then is when they're playing, and Fletcher comes in and tests each group, and immediately takes a shot at the girl. Hey there, because you're cute. Oh, guess so.
And the teacher's reaction when Fletcher's like, "May I?" He's like, he just turns away like, "Whatever."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You're gonna poach my group.
Right. That must be how it's done. And then he has it. Connolly and Andrew play, and drums with me. Connolly's all happy. No, other drums.
Yep.
And then you see the Andrew smirk already. You know, he gets so cocky. He gets so cocky early. Kind of a dick. You see already a little bit. Then he is. So he tells him 6 a.m. That's when he tells
Love
him
that.
practice at 6 a.m.
Yep.
And so his confidence is boosted. That's when he goes and asks Nicole out. Smiles on the way out. Oh, she messes with him and says,
He
"Please
messes
go
with
away."
him big
Yeah.
time.
Go away. Yeah.
That was kind of funny. And then, so she's likable already, right? With that. So then somehow, I don't know how, somehow he oversleeps and runs down there and waits 3 hours, right? Waits 3 hours in
3
the
hours.
room to practice. And then the studio band comes in. Pretty cool how they show, you know, the musicians warming up. Tanner's already an asshole. You meet Tanner. And then the guy with the yells,
milk
milk
the cunt, which I looked it up.
which I think I did too. Okay, you go
Yeah.
ahead.
And it's for, everyone play your middle, like middle C. was
Middle
it?
C.
Yeah. Tune
Tuning.
to C.
Yeah, for tuning.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, "Whoa." When they said tune the drums, was tune the drums to B minor. I was like, you tune drums?
Oh,
You do
you're
tune
asking the
them.
wrong guy.
Yes.
I know. Dave, you had drums.
Of course
just
you
thought,
tune
you know,
them.
I never really thought of like an actual note.
Yeah, you tune them. Of course
Like
you
full
do.
disclosure,
Well,
I played
yes.
I played guitar since I was in 6th grade. I cannot read a lick of music. So seeing, like, I'm in awe and I'm jealous of people that can just, here's the music and they can just play it. it's not a choice of
Well,
can I do this.
most musicians can't read music.
Right.
Even the Beatles can't read music. So
I'm like them. Thank you.
yeah,
I
you
appreciate
like
that.
Yeah.
Fletcher comes in. You can tell they're all
9
they're
on the
all
dot.
scared. Yep. Puts his hat, takes his jacket off. He's jacked, as you see.
Very meticulous.
Very meticulous. Yep, you could tell. Must have a physical regimen, and starts playing Whiplash, right? Which we probably all know by now just from hearing it.
Right.
And and that's makes one little comment to the guy in the back. It's not your boyfriend's dick. Do not come early. Says it smooth.
You're starting to understand who this, or sort of get an idea.
You kind of figured out who the guy was, but
yeah, I mean, you didn't think he was. I mean, next we learn when he does the stop and someone's out of tune, and
Elmer
he
Fudd,
finds out finds out it's bones. It's in the bones. Yep. So he said, "Tell me it's not you, Elmer Fudd." And he says, "There's no fucking Mars bars down there. What are you looking at?" And so they show shots of Andrew's face. Like you could tell, I think Andrew is kind of like intimidated, but he still respects him. You know what I mean? Like he's still as we find out, he always looks for his approval to the very end. And then poor Metz gets booted. And he's been carrying your ass. What does he say? Something about a Happy Meal. Boots his ass out of there and then admits he wasn't out of tune, but it's almost worse if he didn't know that. Or he told the other guy it was him. So then he says, next up, we're going to get the squeaker. And then he takes him out. So he asks Andrew about his parents. I think he's being all nice.
He's just setting him up, testing him.
That's the facade. And that's where you start to get confused. Like, all right, who's the real Fletcher? Is it this guy?
Right.
But the great thing about that is it sets up the next scene perfectly. Because he asks about his family,
he gets the inside info. He gets he gets the info that he's gonna totally obliterate him over. And so he smiles, tells him to relax and says, "You here for a reason? Say it." And I'm here for a reason. Have fun. He smiles and starts playing. He says, "We got a regular Buddy Rich here." He's smiling. Andrew's all beaming. Little trouble, and then we all know the scene. He, goes back and forth. Nope, not quite my tempo. A little rushing, dragging, and then finally he throws the chair at him. And why do you suppose
and he really stops him?
At Neiman?
Yes.
He really stops him like pretty hard.
Yeah, during the filming he slapped him hard on some, and then he didn't. But they used his real slaps, I guess.
And this pretty much shows me that if this is what it takes to be great, I would not get there because I would have slunkered out.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to the big picture because I don't,
Chris, would you have stayed?
No.
Dave, you quit Little League in the middle of a game. You wouldn't have stayed.
I'd probably jam my drumstick up the guy's ass.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you guys.
Well, Andrew almost gets there, but.
So that guy, I don't know if he was the drum teacher. He's the one who taught them both.
Really?
Well, he's the one who helped Miles Teller more, and the other guy Connolly. I don't think he played drums at all. Connolly.
Well, Miles played drums when he was a kid.
Miles, he played drums since he was, I guess, since he was like 15.
Right.
Yeah.
But the practicing and everything, I think Tanner was the local guy, Massachusetts.
Gotcha. Oh, he was good. He was good in his role and everything. So then he's I love that whole scene with the things he says to him. I will fuck you like a pig. Was I rushing and dragging? And he does the slaps, and then when he tells him to read tempo, that's when he's like, "Holy shit!" Well, first he's like, "Holy shit! I didn't know they allowed retards. Holy Christ! I didn't know they allowed retards into Schaefer. Am I to understand you can't read tempo? Can you even read music?" That's when he does the
Yeah.
He goes, "What is acapella group? A fucking acapella group? Single tier. We get the single tier.
Are you a single tier?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then he has it. Just humiliates him, And then for the final father fucking time, are you upset? He has him louder. That's what he says. Say it louder.
And this is his kind of
montage.
This is his step one of trying to make his own bird.
Yes. Right.
If he broke, he knows it. He's gone, but he stayed. Right.
Yes. Well, yeah. But I think Andrew was right later on when he says there a line. I mean, I think I kind of agreed more with Andrew that if there's a great, if you're an all-time great, there is no line. Is that what Fletcher says?
Yeah.
But so his next little montage with him practicing, just awesome. The way they shot it, you see. Well, how about the physical toll that Andrew takes in this movie?
The blisters,
the shot.
I gotta say this though. Because I gotta say this. Anyone that's great at something, they sacrifice shitloads. So I don't know if I disagree with Fletcher in some areas, because to be great, you gotta fucking push. So
yeah. That's
why.
I don't think Tom Brady had a Terrence Fletcher though.
Well, don't talk about Tom Brady right now. I want to fucking puke.
he pushed himself.
We're actually later on in the show. We have Tom Brady's dad coming on. He wants to say a few things.
I wouldn't be fucking surprised. Yeah. Calls every other fucking show.
Yeah. You're a hero,
really tough to get that guy on the radio.
You're a hero. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
Sorry. Well, I mean, the guy brought us so much joy. What do you want? Just like Charlie Parker brought many joy. All right. So then the next, he shows his date with Nicole, and he kind of is like confused that she doesn't really have a plan, a goal, and you could tell that's a little foreshadowing already.
He's almost
saying she's homesick, and I mean he says, so I go to the movies with my dad all the time. So
is he on the spectrum? That's another thing I thought of. It's like Asperger's.
That's what
he might be.
Before. Yeah,
he could be, right. Definitely some. He
said something
issues.
Like, I have trouble making eye contact. He said that.
Well, listen, he's confused where she doesn't have the drive that he has, and I think anyone around him, which you see throughout the movie, he's confused with that they don't have ambition or drive, or if they don't want to be great, he doesn't get them.
Right, so. And we'll get to his discussion with his cousins and uncle, which everybody in the family is an asshole.
Is my favorite, which is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. To be honest with you, it's definitely one of my favorite lines in that scene.
Yeah, that was great. But Andrew's still a dick, but
such an asshole.
So, but he was right. Like his cousins are jackasses. But that's jumping ahead. We'll get to. So next is the Overbrook Jazz competition.
Well, wait. Because you see in that scene that Nicole really likes him still.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She
they play
pushes her foot against his, and she's enamored by the guy for some reason. Yeah.
Full olive. Folks, we have an olive emergency right now. He's just chewing.
I think he's choking on a giant olive.
Sorry, that's how we, that's how you drink a martini. That's right. I'm not going to apologize. Mid-podcast or not. So, so they're at the Overbrook Jazz competition, and Andrew sees Fletcher with the little kid. He's still charmed by him. He still looks up to him. You could tell even after that vicious verbal beating he took. And this is the line I gave you guys this morning. I love you. Comes in so casually. Fletcher, listen up, cocksuckers.
But again, it goes back to, what is the real Fletcher? Is it the guy in the hallway with the kid and the girl, the guy and the little girl, or is it the asshole that's in front of everyone? I guess we'll never know. We'll never know.
Right. Well, I mean, he really believes. He really did try, like he says, but we'll get to that. He yells at Schwaz from Henry Danger.
Yeah.
He says, "Fucking get out of my."
I don't know what you guys are talking about, Henry Danger.
He's the little guy. He's the
little guy. He's mini me.
Mini me.
I don't watch Henry Danger. I'm sorry. You guys are just.
It's because your kids are too old.
You have children. Well,
no, I don't.
You know, Mike.
I use me in the.
I absolutely didn't watch an episode today.
It's brilliant.
It's not okay. Brilliant.
I can still fucking see you, mini me.
Yep.
I'm talking to you, Dave. No. So Tan is such a dick to him. I forgot to before when I said he was a dick to him right away. He's like, Paige, you know, when he's
oh yeah.
But Tan is such a dick to him here. He's like, just treats him like garbage. And then he gives him his book. And by the way, whose fault really was this? I mean, why did Tana give him a book?
Who took the fucking book? Who took it?
Fletcher.
That's what I thought. Fletcher took the book, right?
There's no way he didn't. Of course he did. Okay, not just, I don't know if he just wanted to have Andrew play. I don't know about that. But he saw a book down and he's like, I just yelled at these fuckers. I'm going to pick up this book. So that's great. Fletcher definitely stole it. I have it written down.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's, you give a calculator to a retard. He's going to try to turn the TV off. It takes a nice little shot at Andrew, but Tanner's has a medical condition. So,
right.
And then Neiman's like, I can play it. You better play
right
it
away.
Better than last.
Without skipping a beat, I can play it. Got it.
Yeah. And they show it. Yeah. Every jazz scene is shot so well, in my opinion. It just looks so good.
Do you have a new appreciation for jazz?
I do a little bit. Yeah, I've liked jazz in the past. I haven't, I'm not a huge fan, but
I've seen big band shows.
Definitely more appreciation after this.
Just on the side note, I actually watched Jeff Beck play with the jazz band. They were amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
My wife loves Harry Connick Jr. And he goes out with these big jazz bands. So I've seen just ridiculous musicians.
Yeah.
You know what I love is the Starbucks jazz.
Quote unquote jazz.
No. Remember Fletcher says that later.
Yep.
He takes a shot at it. So Andrew obviously does well at the competition because you get here's the next scene. Yeah, the next scene is at practice and Tanner is sitting there and he says, "Don't fucking touch my kit." And he's all pissed off. Oh, and the other guy, the kid takes a shot at Andrew.
Yeah, don't touch my fucking book.
Which is true. I mean, it looks so Weasley, and
Well, Tanner is the most hated person, I think, for me in that movie. He was such a dick right from the beginning.
After Andrew, yes, exactly. No.
I don't know if he's worse than Andrew. He's the biggest asshole in this movie.
He is an asshole. But,
there's no redeeming quality for that guy.
Well, you really don't get to know him at all, right? But he's screaming at him.
I don't want to get to know him.
I don't screaming want to get to know him at him. This is true. So, and then so Tanner, I don't have time for alternates. This is core only. Oh. And then you see the close up on it.
Just zooms in Andrew's
face. And then don't forget to turn Neiman's pages. So Andrew's a dick too. He knows this guy's a jerk. But he's like smirking.
Oh yeah.
What he does to Connolly is unforgivable. We'll get to that. The way he treats Johnny Utah is just not right. What's that?
Who's Johnny Utah?
How many times did you watch the movie? You said. He's getting he's in a vaccine haze. We're losing him.
That's what he calls Connolly. It's from
Point Break, right?
From Point Break.
Yes, yeah. Point Break. Yeah.
Keanu is Johnny Utah. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then you see him. You see him listening to jazz on the bus, looking at his phone, and it's symbolic. You see Nicole's message pop up and interrupt. So she's an interruption into his music.
Oh yeah. And he just ignored it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he breaks up with her soon. He did look at it. So then he's with his dad's family. So, and his uncle's such an asshole. Like, can you imagine complaining about the overcooked meat?
Yeah, they are dicks to him.
Yes, they're all assholes in this scene. And how dumb are his cousin is. So they're talking about such talented people. So his father won Teacher of the Year. So he's not a nobody. And the kid with this Division III football, but his cousin asking the stupid question is, is it subjective? They don't keep score. And then the uncle saying,
He goes,
"Can the studio get you a job?"
I just love when he goes, "Isn't it subjective?" He goes, "No,
no, it's not." He
not
was
the brightest people.
Hold on. But you guys are underscoring his facial expressions throughout the entire the table read. He was hilarious just to watch his face. He was so disgusted. He was disgusted that they weren't talking all about him at that point.
Well, I mean, they really, even the aunt. Oh, you're with his drumming. Yeah. He's pretty impressive. Yeah. No matter how moronic his aunt and uncle and cousins are. I mean, it's obviously impressive that the youngest player in the core studio band at the most prestigious music school in the country. And then and then his cousin's bragging, and then Andrew's with Division III. I mean, he's right. my favorite line is coming up in this. Go ahead, you can say. Yeah, okay. So then he first says, "You think you're better than us?" And he says, "Oh, you're catching on quickly. You're Model UN. Is that what?" And then he says, "If you think you're so tough, why don't you come
play for us?
Come play with us." And then the 4 words NFL people will never say to him. Great line. Andrew's right. Andrew's a dick. So, and then they talk about
being remembered. He'd rather be remembered.
Yeah, but yes. I mean, his moronic uncle's actually right. Your friends remember you. I mean, that is more important than
to him.
Like Andrew's father says, he dies. Is Charlie Parker really died in his 30s or something? Is that true?
Is Charlie Parker
addicted to heroin? Oh, you're big into jazz?
Is Charlie Parker a real guy?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He is.
Is Charlie Parker a real guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Reiser played Charlie Parker. That was Charlie Parker the whole time.
You're a jazz fan? I'm no jazz fan, but I know the Birdman. No.
I'm not a jazz fan. I'm not a hardcore jazz fan. I just appreciate it.
I appreciate jazz since the first time I watched this movie 10 days ago. I've become a big jazz aficionado.
No, I watched Jeff Beck with the jazz music like 2-3 years ago. I loved it.
You've seen the Celtics play the Jazz.
So then you have, well, his uncle says, your friends will remember you, and Andrew says the point is he didn't have friends, which I don't agree with Andrew.
He said everyone will remember me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
But no, he said nobody knew Charlie Parker.
Oh, that's right. And
is that a good thing?
To him, it's about being the greats, one of the greats again. Yeah.
But again, I don't want to bring Tom Brady name back into this. But
please don't.
But I'm sure he doesn't think the same thing. So so that was, and then his father takes a little, and he says, and from Lincoln Center. Yeah, I think he says.
Did you hear from Lincoln Center? Yeah, have you heard from?
From Lincoln Center, right? And it pissed him off a little.
He was well, he was being a jerk too. So it's like you could see him kind of trying to put him in his place. Like shut up, son.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's what his dad was doing. Yep. His dad turns out he's a likable character. So, but yes. So right, Andrew was being a dick in that scene, but he was also, he was in the right.
Yep.
Right, with those moron family that he was with. Division III. So the next scene is Neiman is all cocky when he shows him. So this is Caravan. He's going to play. I told Mikey this could possibly be the name. It probably wouldn't be as catchy, but the song Caravan is the with the double time swing. He said that is a double time swing. He's showing them that, and then he says, Neiman's feeling all good, and then he says, "I saw some kid playing," and Neiman's like, and then he brings in Connolly, pops in. He's like, "Hey, Andy."
He's all like, "Hey, hey."
And
What a
then
kick in
right,
the-
and then he
what
has
a kick
Neiman
in the-
see if he can play it.
But what a kick in the balls to Andrew. And that was done so purposefully. Because you can see
Oh,
he's being a little cocky.
Yep.
Yep.
Everything
But
was a
then-
challenge.
I love it. And then Neiman tries to play it. He says, "Nope, not my tempo. We'll go with Connolly." When Neiman's like, "No, I got," and he's like, "Nope, we're gonna go with Connolly." And so Fletcher's actually like sounds reasonable, and he's like, obviously Andrew's shaking, and so Andrew shakes his head when Connolly is playing.
He stood
Like,
right
that's
over
not
him
good.
too. Do you notice? Like
Yeah.
when he
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And
He said
then
Then he insulted him. He said it was shit. He said he's basically shit.
Fletcher. Well, first Fletcher says perfect.
Yeah.
he's like, "You kidding me?"
Perfect Connolly.
Yeah.
It's perfect Connolly. And he goes, "Are you shitting me? That?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so Andrew gets already gruesome balls.
Yeah,
You know,
you start to
he-
see that more. Yep.
He's already feeling he can push back to Fletcher. And that's when Fletcher gets the call about the kid who,
Sean
quote unquote,
Casey.
John Casey, who died in a car accident. And he busts into his office and he's like, but Fletcher's like, not now. You want the pot, you earn it. So the next scene is the cringeworthy scene that I never like to watch, when he breaks up with his girlfriend and goes,
David's favorite scene.
It's one of my favorite scenes because it's so fucking just cut and dry. Here are the facts. Here's why I'm doing it.
This is why I don't think that we should be together. And I've thought about it a lot, and this is what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna keep pursuing what I'm pursuing. And because I'm doing that, it's gonna take up more and more of my time, and I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time with you. And even when I do spend time with you, I'm gonna be thinking about drumming. And I'm gonna be thinking about jazz music and my charts and all that. And because of that, you're gonna start to resent me. And you're gonna tell me to ease up on the drumming, spend more time with you because you're not feeling important. And I'm not gonna be able to do that. And really, I'm just gonna start to resent you for even asking me to stop drumming. And we're just gonna start to hate each other. And it's gonna be ugly. And so for those reasons, I'd rather just, break it off clean. Because I wanna be great.
And you're not.
I wanna be one of the greats.
And I would stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
You know I would stop you from doing that. You know that for a fact.
Yes.
And I'd barely see you anyway.
Yeah.
And when I did see you, you treat me like shit because I'm just some girl who doesn't know what she wants. And you have a path, and you're going to be great, and I'm going to be forgotten. And therefore, you won't be able to give me the time of day because you have bigger things to pursue.
That's exactly my point.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're right, we should not be dating.
She responds, and he says,
great.
"Oh, yeah, I'm glad you see it my way." She's like, "Are you fucking retarded?" And basically, what she says.
She goes, "What the fuck?"
She says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" That's the line of the movie.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, but she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" It's great. Then he's like, "Oops." So then you see him.
Hold on. My son's friends are giving me fresh pineapple right now.
No, eat it. It's so juicy.
Hold on, it's so juicy.
You're live on the
All right.
podcast. We've made it. You're on the internet. I'm not editing this shit out.
All right, get out of here, guys.
We gotta go around the room. Introduce yourself
Everyone take a piece of pineapple.
and tell us what you thought of Whiplash.
My name is Cameron.
Can we call you Cam?
That's my son who thinks he's fucking Hawaiian.
He's-
Like,
Andrew looks like he's from 1979.
Khalil's the only normal kid here. So, all right, get out.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
That
Sorry.
was nice.
Yeah.
So she says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Then he's practicing. He can't get the double time swing. He's when he punches the drums. Great scene there. He's
I was
just
like, "Oh my god, you got to get a new drum head."
ice in his hands, and it's just brutal. And then, so then the next scene, he tells him the story of Sean Casey. The not so true story. He died in a car accident. You think Fletcher is really has feelings, and you see that side of him. And
I mean, I'm sure he has feelings.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course he does. And then that is the three-way competition. This is one of the best parts.
This is what, yeah.
So, right, he's like, Tanner's first. No, Tanner isn't first. I'm sorry, Connolly. Right, Connolly is like, nope. And then Andrew, let's see if you did that. Let's see if you've been practicing and you got it. I guess not.
Yeah.
Then, yep, nope. Then Tanner, and then Tanner tries right away, and he says, "Motherfucker." So
is that when he kicks the rest of the group? He just
kicks the rest of the group, tells them if they need to take a fucking dump or whatever they need to do. Those poor guys had. So this is a lot of hate speech by Fletcher here, where he's like laying into Tanner and his Bette Midler concerts and
a bit,
faster than he gives hand jobs, and actually says to Andrew, "You worthless Jaime fuck."
And he gets away with all this because he wields so much power. They're so afraid of him, and they want to be with him. They don't want to get rid of him. You know what I mean? It isn't until obviously we see later, but no one ever says anything.
I think now, yeah, I don't know if he can get away with it now.
Right. Maybe.
I don't know if he could have got away with it in 2014 either, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
but for the sake of
ridiculous.
this, yeah.
Right. He's ridiculous. And then he has Connolly. He's like, what? You know, you really think it's the height of the seat? He's like, is it a pot of gold? That's where he says, pot of gold down there. He's like, fuck you, bullshit. And then
Connolly never even like gives him an evil look. The kid's
he's just tired. He says, he said he told Andrew his bark is worse than his bite. So, like I said, Connolly, my favorite character. Just a nice guy.
He's redeemable.
He has a Sonny Abbott attitude. So then finally Andrew gets it. He's bleeding all over the place. He gets it, gets the part, earns the part. So those other two were probably like relieved, right?
Probably. And that's when he tells them to clean the blood off my
alternates, clean the blood off my so yeah. Brutal though. Like imagine I can't even imagine. And then the competition is next, and he's on the bus, and he's nice little score. So Andrew probably would have been all set after this. You know what I mean? Like he's on his way, doing well, working hard, got the double time swing.
Yeah, there is some happenstance that happens to him. You know?
Bad luck with the truck. Gets a flat tire. Then he goes to rent a car.
Sticks.
This part's great. You hear the drums playing, and you shows Andrew going through renting the car and everything. He forgets his sticks, like you said, and then he says Connolly's playing the part, and he's like, "No, fuck you, that's my part."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the fuck did you say to me?" So Andrew is like, he could say anything to Fletcher here, not anything, but he's like, "I earned it," and Fletcher, he's not even getting phased by Fletcher saying, you little, you weasel, you weaseled your way in. Yep. But so obviously Fletcher will put up with his lip and his bullshit because he's still letting him play.
Yep.
He's like, I could kick you out of here, but he's still letting him play. And he's like, that's when he says, fuck off, Johnny Utah, turn my pages, bitch. And and then Fletcher's like, and this is one of the great lines when he says, "You got 10 minutes, you fucking pathetic pansy ass fruit fuck."
And he didn't have his sticks, right? So he goes, I left him in the car.
Have his sticks. Right. And then it's great shot of him getting into the accident. It's crazy. Yeah. When you watch this, you're like, what the hell? You're just like, how is this? And then you see him get out of it.
But time out though. So then he gets onto the drum kit. He's fucking full of blood, right?
He's a maniac.
And he's playing in front of this auditorium of people. And not one person was like, "Oh my God, please see if this kid's all right." Not one person.
Well, he's playing.
I mean, you can't. He
might not have seen him well.
The lights might be a little low. He's getting out there. You can't really tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his hand is all screwed up, and I love when he's playing with his finger. when he drops the stick, you see blood everywhere, and yeah. So finally,
he's like Neiman, what the fuck?
Neiman, what the yeah. And then
not are you okay? Nothing like that. Just
no. Right. People are like, what the hell? Like, what is wrong with this kid? But wouldn't you be like, you're bleeding?
Yeah.
Andrew, you're bleeding a lot. And he probably broke his fingers or something. You know,
he did. He had a splint on it. Remember?
Right. That's the only thing that could prevent him from playing. You know, he actually played pretty well for getting all messed up. And then he's like, Neiman, you're done. And that's when he tackles him, and he's like, fuck you.
Now I can see a lot of people doing that.
Right. I can see you doing that.
They snapped. Right. He's taking him away after putting him through all of this. After, I mean,
it's the mental break.
Yep. So the next scene is when the woman is telling him about Sean Casey, and his dad wants to stop him. So this is I love you know, Paul Reiser. He seems like a pushover, but he's like, you think you would, you know, you would let him put my son through hell? You think I'm gonna let him get away with that? You know what I mean? You're the most important thing to me. So I was like, you know, you're like, he's not a pushover here, at least.
Right.
There's one scene with Paul Reiser. There is definitely one scene with Paul Reiser later on that could be one of the best facial expressions in the entire movie.
Oh, when he looks at it, that is good. Paul Reiser doing great work since Aliens.
Yeah.
Do not mention his awful TV show. So yeah, they do flashing back and forth with him talking to the woman, saying Sean Casey was abused, you know, was mental abuse.
Yep.
And that's what caused him. He committed suicide. And you see Andrew putting his drum kit away, and you flash back to him. Finally, he agrees to go on the record. They're like, you won't even know that it's you. You don't have to put your name down and everything.
Yep.
And then they flash. It says summer, and he's going to. Kid's obviously bright. He's going to Columbia.
Uh-huh. I didn't even pick up on that.
They show his acceptance letter. He's going to Columbia. He's working at, you know, coffee shop, whatever. But yeah, obviously a smart kid, and his dad, the good dad, making sure his fridge, his cabinets are loaded with Gushers.
Coming over and watching movies with him. Right.
So Andrew, you know, obviously I was thinking about this. He obviously was such a dick, and but he, you know, he finds a little humanity and sees what an asshole he was. And so he's a little more sympathetic going forward, you know, apologizing. So does he, no, he doesn't call her yet, because he's walking by the jazz place, and Terrence Fletcher is playing, and that's when he goes in. Daisy coming in to say hi. My beagle.
Yeah, mine just came up too. Shit.
So he
Beagles, losers.
That's right. Oh my God, looks so much like mine.
I know, that's what I said.
My Bentley's paws weighs more than both your dogs.
You're right.
Whatever. So that's when Fletcher sees him. Oh, by the way, so this is the first time you see Fletcher not in a black t-shirt. I think they try to humanize him here finally, you know? So he's not like the black outfitted villain.
Right.
Black.
But I think this conversation wasn't bullshit.
No.
Between Fletcher and Andrew. I think it was legit how he felt.
Yeah.
How he worked with the kids, what he truly believed was right.
His philosophy.
I agree. I agree.
It wasn't a setup. It wasn't like anything like I was gonna be like a gotcha moment. It was just him telling him really how he felt, I thought.
Right. And then he said, oh, and so Fletcher, I like how Fletcher makes it seem like he doesn't know.
Right. Someone in Sean Casey's ear, I bet.
Yeah. Right. Someone in Sean Casey's ear is the one who ratted me out. So that's when I'm sorry, but to get back to your point, right, is he tells his philosophy, and that's when he goes over his whole philosophy about the greats have to be pushed, and there's no more damaging words than good job.
The two worst worst
which is
words
great
in the English language. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
which is essentially Belichick.
I agree with the trophies for everything for everyone is not a good thing, but
Right.
But Andrew says, is there a line? He doesn't think there's a line, which is so. But right, it humanizes Fletcher a little, and then he tells him he's conducting the JVC thing. But I think he also, and then he says, so I won't apologize.
Great.
I'm there to the next Charlie Parker. To be honest, I've never had a Charlie Parker. And then he said, I'm wondering if you could play in this thing for me. And he said, what about Connolly? He said, this sounded a little like I was dating him to make you jealous.
Yeah.
I was doing push. Connolly was nothing but pushing you there. And he tells him to think about it. And that's when he, opens the closet, takes out the drums. He calls Nicole.
I love this phone call. I love her, her.
Oh, it's great.
This is her best acting, I think. I don't know. It felt like a real phone conversation.
Right.
Have you had that one before, Mikey?
I got to ask my boyfriend. Yeah, with you.
And the look on his face. Right. You see the look with you. That's
yeah.
So the look on his face is great. I mean, he makes it look like I deserve that.
Yeah.
Ouch. But I deserve that. So, and he did. I mean, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah. He took a shot. He tried.
Right.
You think there'll be no reconciliation between the two?
It could be,
I think she went to his farm and fell in love again.
Well, I think his jazz career.
You wrote Whiplash too?
I'm writing it right now. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I'm sorry. So this is when he's getting ready for. No, you had the wheels are spinning. Whiplash too. Can we get that going?
It's just a romance. Whiplash too. There's no drums.
I'm out. So he's getting ready for the JVC, and it's great. Sees his dad.
Yep.
Fletcher gives a little speech. Excuse me.
Yeah, about
says tonight could change your life. It could also, ruin his. And
I picked up on that this time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like that's his. So I love the fact that Fletcher does not care that he's going to screw up he's conducting this, performance at ABC. He doesn't care if he's going to screw it up. This revenge is going to be sweet, embarrass and ruin Andrew, which is kind of great. But I love Andrew. So Andrew's smiling at him even.
Yep.
And he says, "You think I'm fucking stupid?"
But before that, they're all going up on stage, and you see everyone go, and then you see Andrew at the last second, and he passes by, and you just see Fletcher getting his jacket on,
putting his coat on, right?
Yeah, just kind of like I'm watching you. I don't know, something about that little shot of him.
Yeah, and then he says, "You think I'm fucking stupid?" And then he wipes the smile right off Andrew's face. And
at that point, he knew. He knew his fucking. He says, the song and.
You try a new song called Upswinging. Yeah, I love how so great.
And then we get the best scene in.
But you could feel the anxiety.
Oh yeah.
You put yourself in Andrew's shoes, and he's in a drum kit.
He's already nervous. I love how he's already nervous. You see him wiping.
Already nervous at a drum kit in front of a massive amount of people, and he doesn't know the song. And they're all playing, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It's not a rock song where you can fake your way through it.
The guy next to him says, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah. Great, and he's totally mortified. You see his face; he's just playing nothing. And then he runs off, and his dad hugs him, and you're like, wow, That was ugly. And then he changes his mind, runs back, and Fletcher is telling the crowd, "We're gonna stop. We're gonna slow it down." And then he starts playing.
Banging.
This is the best.
And then it just
and
goes.
he says, "I'll cue you in. Cue you in. This is this whole
bass, yeah.
25-minute scene, 20-minute scene, whatever how long it was just amazing how they shot it. The music, how the camera went in between.
But Chris,
yes,
as he's fucking banging away on the drums, this is my favorite scene. This is one of my favorite scenes. Banging away on the drums, he looks back and he just melts. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, you know what? You're not fucking with me anymore. I'm done.
Fletcher gets close to him. He hits the crash cymbal, almost hits him in the face.
Fucking.
He comes right. He comes up to him. He says, "I will gouge your eyes out," and he boom.
Yeah, that's smash.
And that's where you can see the two of them, and they're like equals now.
Yeah.
Now they're equals. That's where I look. That's how I view the ending. They were equals, and they needed each other at that point. I thought Fletcher found his peer, and I think Andrew found his match.
Whatever pushed him. Yeah.
So
well, and then it sounded like the song ended, and that's when Andrew does his his drum solo, and this is when Fletcher's like, okay, he's got something here. He's when you see Fletcher getting into it is the first time I watched it. I was like, this is unbelievable. And they show the camera going back and forth, like you mentioned last week in Glorious Bastards, Mikey, when you had the camera going from
just boom, boom, boom,
back and forth, and you had it going back to Fletcher and to
Neiman. What a build! I mean, seriously, what a build in that entire.
I'm gonna watch that scene again after we're done. It's just so good.
But the look on Paul Reiser's face when he looks on at his son playing the drums, that's I think one of his best acts. I asked Mikey this last week. Was it fear? Was it anxiety? Was it amazement that he was seeing? Like what his expression was? I couldn't pinpoint it.
Was he in awe or was he like?
He was playing like a fucking possessed soul.
When it goes dark and then you think it's over, and then he's still playing and he's going like a madman.
Yeah.
And Fletcher says, "Andrew, what are you doing, man?" Where he's already like,
and he's like, "I'll cue you." He tells
ally. He's already his ally. He says, "I'll cue you," and then that's when he nods, and that's when he wipes his mouth. That gif you sent, Mikey.
Yeah.
I mean, J.K. Simmons was unbelievable in this movie.
This is when we start doing the hand signals.
Yes. When he starts doing that, and he's like, and he brings it. But I love how they mute the sound too when you don't hear him playing. Exactly.
You watch the drumsticks are going up.
You faintly hear the drumsticks. You don't hear him playing exactly. Nope. And then they have him slow down. You hear it again, and you have him slow down.
Yeah.
And then brings it back up, and then he finishes, and the iconic scene of Fletcher's eye smiling with his eye, nodding, and then Andrew beaming. Because he always still wants Fletcher's approval.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fletcher's as hard as a rock at that moment, no doubt.
It was.
Why'd you go there, you weirdo?
Because that's what I texted Chris yesterday. I go, he's orgasmic in the scene. Like, that's the way I mean, just like he was like, oh yes.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, and it was just one of the best closing.
It just ends.
One of the best endings to a movie, and it was so, in my eyes, it was kind of like twisted. It's not like a feel good story.
No.
What did you say?
I said like Jaws. I'm just kidding.
How dare you? It was kind of like twisted how he still wants Fletcher's approval. How Fletcher probably still, and David probably disagrees with me. Fletcher's like, I did it the right way. This is how we got this.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with that. I think throughout this entire movie, that whole build was about how they needed each other. They needed each other to succeed, because Fletcher said he never had that type of player.
Right.
And he finally got him. And the ending, I think, solidified the entire movie.
Like how close was he with other Andrews doing a lot of the same things, and they broke?
Exactly. Right, and they just never finished it.
Well, and Andrew would have broke. I mean, Andrew wouldn't have made it if he just screwed him over and he didn't play and he walked off the stage.
Yep.
So I
just rendition of Caravan. but it's one of the best closing scenes of a movie in a long time. So fantastic movie. It's the first time I used that word.
I think it is tonight.
Of course it is.
I would say it's a fine movie. We did it.
It is a fine movie. And I really think it's one of the best movies in the past 10 years. And I was blown away when I first saw it. And I'm glad both of you enjoyed it.
Loved it.
See, now again, I've said these are my favorite characters, and I can say it's one of my favorite movies that we've done so far.
So simple.
We've done so many good ones, but I mean, this is right up there.
Right. I mean, it's so simple.
Well, what you said is
acting. You know, it's just like I said. It could have been a play.
Mm-hmm. It was right. So okay. So I have best scenes. So let's talk. The ending is obviously just one of the best scenes of all time. I don't think that's hyperbole. It's just because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, more than many movies. When he's the first time when he's in the studio band, when you don't know when Fletcher does his routine, it's great. The drummers competing until 2 a.m. The drive to the competition, obviously, it's so well done. And favorite characters, like Dave said, Fletcher. He was just J.K. Simmons was unbelievable in that role. This is what I have. The only likable character, besides his dad and Nicole. I mean, it's Connolly. Connolly, MVP.
Sweetheart.
Right? And the least likable, I have a tie between Tanner and Andrew.
See, I don't know where you guys are coming from.
I didn't dislike Tanner that much. He just,
okay. I hated Tanner. Tanner's a dickhead, right? He had redeeming qualities.
Andrew's a dickhead.
No redeeming qualities. I liked Andrew. Because
you want to be him. That's because you are him.
No, let me tell you this. He's just misunderstood.
That's what
he's very annoying. Weasley. He's Weasley, and
okay, I'm not Weasley, but listen, he knows what he wants. He knows who he wants to be. He's confident, and he's not going to let anything deter him.
Great character. I loved him. I was rooting for him at the end. I was rooting him for dominate. And he's still
hold on. Hold on. Bring that smile, that last scene when he was smiling, so you actually feel like he felt like he did it.
I loved it, but it's also twisted. It's also twisted. I don't even think I actually read this thing. It was a review on it, and the critic was like this twisted ending of Whiplash, where it makes it seem like it's kind of what I said, but it was like, but the guy was like, you know, it was a little bit over the top, where he's like he didn't mention. Well, he just said like it makes it seem like Fletcher seems like thinks he was right, and I'm like, it's a movie, dude.
Yeah, he does think he was right.
Like I don't think I've seen Damien Chazelle talk about it. It's just a great, interesting story. You know what I mean? Like everything doesn't have to have this huge overall meaning.
You don't have to agree with the fact that
you don't need
thinks he was right.
Here's the thing. I think everyone expects fucking rainbows and Skittles to drop redeeming every goddamn day.
Yeah.
It's not the way the world is.
It doesn't have to be redeeming.
People are unique. People are driven in different ways. It comes out in different ways. And I mean, does it make him a bad person? I don't know.
Just a great story. Just very entertaining.
Story. Fucking great story.
Very entertaining. Great movie. Great direction. I love Damien.
Great music. Don't forget the music. The music was great in this.
Yep. So yes, just one of the best movies of the past decade. So that's a wrap on.
Yes. Now,
what are we doing next, Mike?
We talked about, speaking of great music, next time we're going back a few years, back to 1990.
Okay, what are you doing? Jerking off?
I'm going to edit some music.
I'm going to be next when we do this movie.
1990. This is a movie
that we hold on. Tell the viewers, the listeners out there, that we actually did our own rendition.
That's going to be during the podcast.
Yeah, we got to do that during the podcast. I'm not going to bring it
up.
Okay, I'm not going to blow our load here.
Sorry.
From 1990, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas.
Such a great movie.
If you haven't heard of this movie, look it up.
So block off 4.5 hours of your time. I will be doing this pod with my pants off.
Okay, is this the two-potter?
It might have to be.
I would tell you, the listeners too, the soundtrack is ridiculous. Listen to that soundtrack.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
That's next time.
Okay.
But we're all done here.
Well.
David.
Yeah.
You seem like you woke up a little bit, like the vaccine haze.
I had some
has blown
pineapple. I
over.
think I got a vitamin C shot.
The pineapple, that pineapple does the trick.
We talk about great movies while drinking. We talk about great movies while drinking. Yeah, we talk about great movies while drinking. And we feel fine.
Say goodbye, David.
Goodbye, guys.
He still doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. Stupid fucking fuck.
What am I supposed to say?
Say goodbye, David.
Say goodbye, David.
Fat Experts.